Welcome to CEO Insights. I'm Marilyn de Guzman with investingnews.com. I'm speaking with Andrew Ford, General Manager of Exploration at Augustus Minerals, a gold, copper, and base metals exploration company in Australia. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
Good to have you. So let's talk about your recent release. You've hit some high-grade assay results from rock chip samples at the Tree project, 35% copper, 10 grams per ton gold. Provide some of the highlights of these assay results and their significance to your exploration strategy moving forward.
Yeah, sure. So I'll just step back, just the background. So we IPO'd last year, and our project, the Tree project, covers about 3,600 square kilometres. So it's a huge project area. And we're systematically exploring that. It's got a couple of probably drill-ready targets that we have tested with about 12,000 metres of drilling last year. And we're looking to do more drilling this year, which I'll go into a bit more detail later. But it just shows you we have a huge amount of ground to cover, but our recent results are uncovering some really exciting results in our assays, highlighting, I think, the potential of the whole project area, which hosts some very prospective structures, and it's in a good stratigraphic and regional area near some developing projects as well. So Hastings for rare earths, Dreadnought for the rare earths, gold and base metals, and Delta Lithium as well. So we're sort of sandwiched between all of those guys. And, a very good strategic point. So, recently, pretty over the last 3 months since April, we've come up with a few really nice rock chip hits, and last week was pretty the best that we came up with. We've defined some new prospects in areas that had no previous exploration recorded, and even our geological survey in Western Australia hadn't identified that there were workings out here that had never been identified. So our geologists getting out in the field, walking up to 18 kilometres a day from their vehicles because of some rough country, have suddenly come across these areas sort of based on targeting from geophysics and magnetics and things to get us in the area. But just getting on the ground, it's amazing what we can find out there. It's really exciting. So our new prospects, we've got our Justinian prospect, which is in our sort of western part of our tenement, which came up with a couple of really nice high-grade gold in rock chips, sort of 10 grams per tonne and 9 grams per tonne gold. And that's on a structure right on a boundary between some a granite, internal granite, and some metamorphics, which is it's a pretty encouraging position in terms of where these structures and where some fluids might have flowed, bringing in the gold. So we've traced that for about 1.8 kilometres, and we'll be heading back in there to do some more rock chipping and mapping through that area just to get a feel on things. So that's Justinian. We also managed to define the Tiberius and Claudius prospects and discoveries, which are the very, very northwest of our prospects, of our target areas, sorry. And those areas were previously unrecognised as having any historic exploration or mining in them, but we've found workings. We've found done rock chips up to 34 grams per tonne copper and almost 300 grams per tonne silver, some elevated gold up to almost a gram, but fresh galena sticking out of the ground, which is lead sulfides, malachite and copper sulfides, that goes up to 78% copper. So we've done some soils over there, and we're trying to review those results, and we've still got some more to do and continuing some more sampling in that area to just define the strike length and width of this area. The third area was our South Snowy area, which was, we sent the guys out sort of last month or so, and they've once again come across some really interesting rocks on some pretty big regional structures running through that area. So a couple of nice gold hits on a big linear fault zone heading northwest of 3 grams per tonne and another 0.9 grams per tonne. Then a little bit further to the northeast, we've found some more veins and structures with up to 31% copper, 130 grams per tonne silver, and elevated gold as well. So we've had the team out again over the last few weeks doing infill sampling, taking more rock chips, trying to map these structures and once again give us an idea of how long, how big, how wide they are. So hopefully we'll have those news results filtering back over the next few weeks. But I think yeah, in summary, that just shows you what is potentially lurking in this prospect and this very large tenement area in an area that's had such little previous exploration. So, yeah, we're pretty excited by the results.
Yeah. So as you said, it's a big land package. What's the strategy moving forward? So could you talk about sort of the next steps for that project?
Yeah, so we've got various plans and programs in place. So at the moment, we're continuing our rock chip sampling, prospecting, mapping. Uh, we have a airborne geophysics program starting hopefully in early August, and that will be targeting a variety of targets. So we have a large dolerite heading into our ground from the north, which is pretty wide. It has potential for copper, nickel, and PGE, platinum group element mineralisation. The same sort of dike and the same money intrusions, we call it, was drilled by our neighbours Dreadnought Resources over the last couple of years. And they've identified some really exciting sulphide intercepts with elevated nickel and copper. So we're looking to replicate that work and try to define zones in our own tenure. We've got about 16 kilometres of strike of this big money intrusion dolerite. So we'll be flying a VTEM survey, which is a airborne survey. It's an airborne electromagnetic survey. So it defines conductors. So if you have a lot of concentrated sulfides, which particularly with a bit of copper in there, they'll light up as conductors in the rock. And then we can look to focus in with rock chips and then potentially drilling as well in those areas. So once again, so the geophysics will allow us to reduce down the strike of 16 kilometres into some more specific areas that we can look to focus in on and hopefully identify our own nickel copper concentrations in this major intrusion. On top of that, we've got our Mini Springs molybdenum and copper porphyry prospect, which has had a fair bit of work done on it by historic explorers and ourselves more recently. We did some 2 drill programs there defining more molybdenum, elevated copper over some pretty broad strike lengths. It looks like a big system. It's got the right alteration for a porphyry. It has an exploration target defined as per our prospectus of between 12 and 84 million tonnes of molybdenum, which is quite encouraging as a start. I think that's the core of the system. So we're looking to do some deep drilling under that. We've got some sponsorship from the state government of Western Australia, so the Exploration Incentive Scheme, where they'll pay for 50% of our drill costs. So we've got 2 700-metre diamond holes sort of targeted to test under the existing drilling in areas where we haven't done drilling, down to an area where we're hoping, given the alteration and some of the geophysics in the area, shows we may hit some hopefully higher grade copper and molybdenum in those areas, sort of the main guts of the porphyry system. So that's another big program coming up. In terms of the VTEM, we do have some other targets. One is the Coo Creek, which is a broken hill type target. So it's got lead, silver, some zinc in some surface drilling, but we think there's a lot of potential down dip. So we want to do this survey, this airborne survey, which will define hopefully some conductors deeper down that we might be able to target with some drilling. And that's a big sort of scale target. I mean, Broken Hill is one of the biggest mineral deposits in the world. So sort of, we're not saying that's here, but the opportunity, I think, is here for that style. So we have the same sort of rocks, similar age, and the initial drilling gave us the right sort of mineralogy. So that's encouraging. The VTEM will also test an area called Munlin Well, which is an old uranium prospect. And we haven't really focused on uranium at all yet, but we see there's an opportunity here to maybe add some value, do this VTEM survey, see if we can find some conductors which either relate to depressed weathering in the target dolomite horizon, which has concentrations of pretty well economic quantities defined by previous explorers, and also potential for conductors at depth, which may indicate an unconformity style uranium target between the younger sediments and the carbonates and dolomites, where they hit the granites, which have a high background in uranium as well. So that's ongoing. So the VTEM, early August, which will be testing 3 targets. Then our diamond drilling program at Mini Springs for copper, molybdenum, deeper high-grade targets. And in the meantime, we're still continuing our rock chipping mapping samples. We've also done some fairly extensive regional soil sampling programs over the main mineralised structures, but into areas where there's been no previous sampling. So we'll be having those results back soon over the next month or so to hopefully define some more areas for follow-up and then drilling as well. So there is a lot of news on the horizon, and we're sort of working, I think, quite well to sort of really push that and try to define and prioritise those targets.
And speaking of big programs that are upcoming, one of the most recent news also was you're raising more than 1.6 million. How will these funds be used?
Yeah, so they will support us with those ongoing programs, gives us some more leeway. If we hit some really good results in our mini springs deeper drilling, that'll give us the potential to do additional drilling pretty well straight away while the rig is on site. So the money will allow us to do some deeper drilling, which and keep the rig on site, which allows us to keep working on that project. So that money will help with that. We'll also use it for the ongoing geochemistry and rock chip sampling programs, keep that running up with some geologists working in the field. Yeah, so the new money will assist with the mini springs drilling, but also help us with the V10 geophysics survey and allow us to do some follow-up work on the ground, potentially target some drilling in that area as well. So that'll be the Coo Creek, the Money intrusion, and the Mama Valley Well uranium prospects.
So if you're talking to investors at right now, what would you say would be Augustus Minerals' compelling investment opportunity, and why is now a good time to invest in the company?
Yes, I think we're sort of very undervalued, I think, in terms of our current cash, new raising, and the results we've achieved, plus the oncoming news flow that we do have with our deep drilling, so 700 metre holes, targeting deep targets is pretty exciting for higher grade molybdenum copper mineralisation, and as well as the V team, which may define some really exciting targets for drilling of our nickel copper PGE targets. So I think there's continued news flow. We've got a huge amount of ground, almost no previous exploration over the vast majority of the ground. So we really don't know what's out there yet. We're getting some of the tip of the iceberg of some of these mineralized structures with these high grades of copper, silver, gold. And that's, I think, the most exciting part. It's just the unexplored nature of the whole prospect area. If we were in Kalgoorlie or the Northern Goldfields of Western Australia, we'd have holes probably every few hundred metres, in some areas drilled down to 50, 100 metres depth. Here, pretty got about, previous drilling is probably limited to about 50 holes in the whole 3,600 square kilometres. So that just gives you an idea of the opportunities here. We're on good structures. We're adjacent to proven developing mine projects. We've got economic grades of mineralisation sticking out of the ground in rock chips. So I think, yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Well, thanks again, Andrew, for joining me today. And I'm looking forward to having you on the show again to talk about some of the results of the programs that you're going to be undertaking.
Great. Thanks, Marilyn.
Thanks. And thanks, everyone, for watching. Join us again next time for another edition of CEO Insights. If you like this video, like or leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exclusive interviews and updates.